Have you ever felt like your prayers were hitting the wall? Like you were speaking to God, but all you got in return was silence? You pray for direction, but there's no answer. You cry out for help, but nothing changes. You read the Bible, but the words don't seem to come alive. And slowly, doubt creeps in. Does God really hear me? Does he really care? Is he even there at all? But what if I told you that God's silence is not his absence? What if I told you that, in the quiet, it is doing something greater than you can see? Could be that God is preparing you. Think about Moses. He was chosen by God to deliver the Israelites. But before leading a nation, he spent 40 years in the wilderness. 40 years of waiting. 40 years of wandering. 40 years of silence. But in that silence, God was shaping him. God was teaching him humility. God was preparing him for his purpose. Could be that your waiting season is actually your preparation season. Could it be that God is working behind the scenes, even when you don't see it? Maybe he's strengthening your faith. Maybe he's stretching your patience. Maybe he's making sure you're ready for the very thing you've been praying for. Because God never wastes a waiting season. If he has you in a season of silence, it's because he's working on something bigger. God's delays are not his denials. Look at Lazarus. His sisters sent word to Jesus, "Lord, the one you love is sick." But Jesus didn't go right away. He waited. And in that waiting, Lazarus died. Can you imagine how Mary and Martha felt? God, why didn't you come? Why did you let this happen? Why were you silent when we needed you the most? But Jesus had a plan all along. When he finally arrived, he didn't just heal Lazarus. He raised him from the dead. Because what looked like a delay was actually a setup for something greater. Could be that what feels like a delay in your life is actually a setup for a miracle. Could be that God is about to do something bigger than what you originally asked for. His timing is not our timing, but his timing is always perfect. What if God's silence is an invitation? Think about Jesus on the cross. In his darkest moment, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And for the first time, the Son experienced separation from the Father. Silence. But in that silence, something powerful was happening. Sin was being defeated. The grave was losing its power. Victory was being secured. God's silence was not rejection, it was redemption. Maybe God is inviting you to go deeper. Deeper in your trust. Deeper in your faith. Deeper in your relationship with him. Because sometimes, when things are quiet, that's when we truly learn to hear his voice. Are you willing to trust him in the silence? What if the breakthrough is right on the other side of your waiting? What if the answer is coming, but God is testing your faith in the process? What if the silence is not a punishment, but a gift? The greatest faith is not built in the moments when everything makes sense. It's built in the moments when nothing makes sense, but you choose to trust anyway. Proverbs 302:6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." Even when you don't understand, even when it feels like nothing is changing, even when God is silent, he is still in control, and he is still working. Meditation, finding peace in the quiet. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself in a dark room. It feels lonely, uncertain, quiet. But then, in the stillness, you hear a whisper, "Be still and know that I am God." You are not alone. You are not forgotten. God is here. Even when you can't hear him. Even when you can't see him. It is closer than you think. Take a deep breath and let his presence fill you. Let his peace calm your heart. Because you're in his hands. And he will never let you go. Challenge, a step of faith in the silence this week. I challenge you to do something different. Thank God, even in the silence. Instead of asking, start thanking. Instead of doubting, start declaring. Every morning, wake up and say, "God, I trust you, even when I don't understand." Because faith is not about feeling, it's about believing. And if you hold on, you will see that God's silence is never his absence. It is working. He is moving. and He is leading you to something greater. Call to action. Let's walk in faith together. If this message spoke to you, comment "I trust you, Lord" below. Hit the like button if you're choosing faith over fear. And don't forget to share this message someone you know needs this reminder today. God is faithful. Even in the silence, it is good. Keep trusting, keep believing, and keep moving forward. Amen.